welcome back to your training videos for the Deliberately Designed Life Planner. In this video, we are going to look at the zones of influence. So we're going to take a look at this graphic, and then I'm going to break some down. I'm going to break some information down for you on these zones. So this actually was the foundation of this planner. This zones of influence graphic has been very impactful in my life, in clients' life, and it came about because all of these zones have a direct impact in how you live your life and in how you can build that deliberately designed life. So for me, once we started breaking these down, it became very clear that the more that I focused in these areas and the more that I understood where I was and where I wanted to be, the more that I started to gain control in building that deliberately designed life. So when I initially started with this work, it was quite a bit smaller. And so there wasn't as many zones. I have personally taken and kind of made my own way with this. So I kind of have like a 4 big zone rule, and then I break these down into smaller bite-sized pieces for clients to use. So the 4 big ones that I go by are relationships, growth, finances, and health. And then from those big 4, I break it down into these bite-sized pieces that you're going to see inside your planner. So of course, I have 11 pieces with, like I've shared many times before, with a blank, because I always love people to be able to put in their own. I also think that if somebody wants to break down a component of one of these bigger ones, they can. And I believe that if you have a project or you have something that you're working on, there's an opportunity to put that one in there. And then, of course, as I've said before, I do want to remind you, if any one of these don't suit you, please, by all means, just cross it out and write something in that is your own. That is completely fine. This journey is your journey. And so I want this to be customized to you. These are an overall arch that I would use with anybody. And then from there, you can take them and break them down into your own. So relationships, let's start there. So this is kind of the first 4 that we have in here. So that's like a 4-month commitment to relationships. So relationship with self, relationship with significant other or your partner, relationship with family. Now you can do immediate family, you can do extended family, and then relationship with friends. So overall, how satisfied are you in each of these 4 areas? So that's what you want to think about. Now, I am going to tell you, remember how I was breaking them down, and that's why I kind of narrowed them up. Sometimes in these ones, family or friends, I still will sneak in an extra, meaning if there's one particular relationship in a family or one particular relationship with the friendships, I myself, or I will have my clients draw a little line down the middle, and we will break it out to that one particular person and then leave family as generic, or one particular person and leave friends as generic, and we will rate them separately. We will go into how we do all that on the next page, but for right now, I just want to give you that little tidbit. Now, listen, the thing about breaking it down is that you have to understand these are designed to take a month. They're designed for you to focus on for 30 days, and then you're going to be doing some building. So here's the thing. If you break it down too much, you've got a lot of focus and a lot of goals that you need to focus on. And so I really want to caution you on how much you break them down. If you have nothing for the blank, maybe that's how you get to break it down. But there's definitely ways around it. So if there's any questions on that, of course, you can always reach out to me. But that is your relationships. Then we go into health. So we have our nutrition, which for me, nutrition is not just what you feed yourself with food. It's what you feed your mind, what you feed your soul. It's the whole entire body, mind, soul connection. So what do you feed to fuel yourself? Rating that. Physical. Now, physical is most often thought of as your physical body. How do you do it? A lot of people will be like, oh, that's exercise. It definitely is exercise. It's a component of exercise, but it's also things like medically, how do you look after yourself? When I'm working with clients, are you keeping up with doctor's visits, and how are you doing with that? And some clients, we even look at their physical space, because that has a direct impact on our health. So in some cases, we even look at physical space. Now, again, nothing for the blank one. If physical space is big for you, then you might want to do that as a separate, but that gives you an idea for physical. Mental and emotional really can be broken down into two. However, when I work with people, most people I find look at that as one and the same. So how well do you look after your mental and emotional health? Are you a person that just shoves everything to the side and doesn't deal with anything and doesn't take it up and look to see what's happening? Or are you somebody that is actually spending time and looking at your emotions and how are you doing mentally? So that's mental and emotional. So that's your health ones. Fun and social could either go in relationships or it can go into the health. It's kind of one of those ones that will go either way. So this one also, what I find is that a lot of people tend not to focus on this one. And I'm hearing a lot more people say, I don't even know how to have fun, or I don't go out and have fun anymore. So please make sure that this one is in your realm, because it is one that I think is important to work on. So fun and social, what are you doing to get out, have fun, be social, get connected? And especially where we are right now, connection is super important. Your growth, so I break that down into personal growth and professional growth. So if you're somebody who's watching this and you're retired and you don't have any professional growth, or you're not working on anything that's kind of more business related anymore, that's fine. That could be one that you might cross out and you might put something different in there. Personal growth is, what are you doing for yourself personally? What learning are you doing for yourself to grow personally? Personal growth, professional growth, very important. Actually, to be honest, if it wasn't important, it wouldn't be on here. That's how I look at each one of these zones. To me, are ultimately very important. So your personal growth, your professional growth, that part. And then last but never least is your finances. How satisfied are you in your financial situation? So that is the entire zones of influence graphic, with that little blank guy staying there. So that just gives you an idea of what that is. There they are in written format for you. I just wanted to make sure that I explained them a little bit verbally for you. And now, whoops, we're going to go back the other way, and we're going to go into how to use these zones. So what you want to do is you want to assign a number in satisfaction out of 10. So 10 is, it's absolutely going perfect. There's nothing that I would even need to work on. I can't imagine it being any different. And 1 is completely the opposite. I'm barely hanging in there, Annette. I don't even know what I'm doing. This hasn't even been a focus for me. I really need to do some work on this. That would give you a lower number. Don't get too hung up on, what do you mean? Like, do you mean at this moment? Do you mean like in the last year? I have people always ask that. I don't want you to spend a ton of time analyzing. It is literally a snapshot in time. If I were to ask you today, how is your relationship with friends? What would you give it a number on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being absolutely fantastic and 1 being the opposite? Assign it a number. That's what I'm looking for here. So I don't want you spending so much time trying to find that number that you're not doing the work. So assign it the number. Then what you're going to do is you're going to count up whatever that number is. So say I'm coloring out of 5, I'm going to go from here and I'm going to color in my little graphic under that zone. That's what we're going to do. So once we've selected our zone, then we assign a number to our zone, then we color it in. And then what we do is we pick a number that we would like it to be at by the end of the month. Now, I am going to go into much greater detail on this when we get into the next video, which is setting up the month. So then you will get to see this even a little bit more. But I just wanted to give you a quick rundown because I think that it's important to really have people understand this zones of influence graphic. So back to this for just a minute. You're going to assign the number that you would like to see yourself at by the end of the month. And then you are going to carry forward and go into your steps 4, 5, 6, and 7, which is 100% on the next video. I just wanted to make sure that you guys are understanding that part. Hey, got you on the big screen. But the other thing that I really wanted to talk to you guys about is how you select your zones. So when you are building on your planner, the first zones that you select are going to be the zones that you are going to carry with you the whole entire 12 months. So if you've never done this before, my advice to you would be to pick a zone that maybe you're super comfortable with, maybe you don't really have that much growth or change that you need to be doing. Not something that is a real strenuous, gotta dig in, that's a lot of work, the goal is intense. And the reason that I say that is because in month 2, you're going to carry forward the work that you do in month 1, and then you're going to start all over again with a new zone in month 2. So basically, you're going to be stacking these zones as you go along. It's not that we work on finances in month 1 and then we forget about them for the next 11 months. That's not building us a deliberately designed life. So you have to be able to carry that work through. So I really, really want to give you some caution in spending some time and thinking about how do you want to set up the first couple of zones. Now, the second little tip that I'm going to give you is you might want to savor a couple of those easier zones that you don't have a lot of work to do and kind of get those once you get into like months 5 and 6 when it's starting to get heavy and it's still a fairly new process for you, but yet you got a little bit of traction because you've been doing this for the past few months. So it's kind of nice to get those, oh, this month is going to be like December. It's a bit of a crazy month. You know what? My nutrition is pretty on point. So I think I'm going to put nutrition in that month. Always, you can move these around. You can do whatever. You may even find that you're like, hey, after all, I need to spend 2 months on this one. And I'm going to skip my blank zone because I need to give this 2 months. I didn't give it enough time. So just really being intentional in how you are setting up those zones each month. Don't just be like, oh, and it started at self, so that's where I'm going to be, and I'm just going to work my way around. If that isn't going to work for you, please really think about it. It might, but there's also a great possibility that it might not. So that is my little bit of advice for you when you're setting this up. I hope that I've done a good job of explaining this. I'm super excited for the next video because in the next video, we're going to lay out the month. We are going to go through it step by step. And that is when you are going to get ready to pull back, set all those goals, get your zones picked, assign your numbers, and let go with your action steps to build that first month. I'm very excited for you. I'm very excited for this process. I feel like now we're really digging in and getting to the fun stuff. Anyway, as I always say, if there's any questions that you have, please do not ever hesitate to reach out to the Deliberately Designed Life Planner Facebook group. Pop your question in there. One of us will be sure to get back to you as quickly as possible. And if ever there's something that you just feel is really personal, tug at your heart, don't want to have that conversation inside of that group, please reach out to me and send me a private message. Don't sit, don't stall, and don't go idle because you don't want to ask that question. I'd rather that you ask it to me privately than not ask it at all. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I hope you get on to the next video because you guys, that's when we get going. Have a great day.